Hello students, I am Rajashree ma'am and today I am going to explain the poem Where the Mind is Without Fear by Rabindranath Tagore. There is a brief introduction of Rabindranath Tagore. He was born in Bengal in 1861 when we were under the British rule. He wrote poems in Bangla and in English. In 1930, Tagore was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature for his collection of songs called Gitanjali. Tagore is the only Indian to have received the Nobel Prize for Literature. Tagore also has the honor of being the composer of the Indian national anthem Jana Gana Mana. The small school he started in Shantiniketan is now a university. Where the Mind is Without Fear is one of his most loved and celebrated poem. This poem can be read and analyzed in different layers. This can be enjoyed by an adolescent child and also a matured man. First of all, when this poem was written by the poet, our country was under the British rule. The whole country was exploited, tortured by the rulers. Our countrymen had no respect, no freedom. Moreover, from the medieval period, the India was attacked by the foreigners again and again. Our ancient knowledge, culture were devastated completely. The whole nation was suffering from superstition, casteism and racism. So it became the dreary desert sand of dead habits. The poet had prayed to God to pull us up from this precarious situation. In the second layer, the poet is appealing for the whole world because at that time the world was suffering from the warfares due to colonialism. So he says, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls. So patriotism and universality are merged together, mingled together in this poem. Let's recite the poem. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country away. The poem, appeal of the message of this poem is universal. The poet is asking God to show the people of the world the way to a better life as well as his own countrymen. This prayer to God is the theme of this poem. This poem is written in one single sentence with different clauses. And so you have to be careful to understand the meaning of this poem. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high. First of all, he pleads to God for a place, for a state where mind is without fear, because we were under the British rule and oppressed. We were under severe fear of tyranny of the British ruler. So he wanted a place which is where people can stay without fear, and the head is held high. That means people should live there with dignity, with self-respect, where knowledge is free. The knowledge at that time was regulated by different factors like blind faith and also the policy of the British rulers. So, but Tagore wanted a knowledge which is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls. This is clear that at that time our society was was divided in different castes, creeds, and religions. So the poet wanted a place where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls. But at the same time, the world was also divided, and there was severe racism in everywhere in the world, not only in our India. In America, in Africa, the black people were tortured by the white people. So this is not only about our country only, but primarily this pleading is for India, where where there should be one nation. He wanted one nation, where words come out from the depth of truth, where that means people should realize, they should have own realization, that is depth of truth, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit. That means dead habits means the old useless customs which guarded or obstructed our way to success, development, progress to the new world. There was there was different division between of racism, of races and religion in the whole world, but there was also a upliftment in knowledge in at that time in Europe and America, but its light had not come to India that much at that time because of our own old customs, old thinking. So the poet wanted us to break the obstruction of this type of superstitious thinking, old faith and all this, to get the light of that knowledge of the broader world, where the mind is led forward by thee into an ever widening thought and action. So he has here pleaded to God that our mind should be led forward by thee. By thee here is God. God, please lead our mind to the ever widening thought and action, so that we can absorb the action, broader thought and action. Into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country away. So the poet had wanted us to get uplifted to that state of freedom or heaven of freedom. So this is the line by line explanation of this poem, and if you have any queries, then you can write it in the comment section and I will discuss it there. So thank you students for watching this video. Please subscribe to this channel.